What up, y'all? It's Middleman TV in the building. And we got a lot to unfold in the boxing world, man. I was going to post a few videos, and I'm still going to edit a few videos and probably post them sometime this weekend. But we have a lot to unfold, man. We really got to talk about Canelo Alvarez and how we're finally going to get somewhat what we want, but we're not really getting what we want. But just the hassle that we had to go through in the past 2 days just to hear no noise. Well, first, I want to say, I appreciate Turkey Al coming out and, helping us make the best fights happen and stuff like that. But I don't know if y'all know, man. Like, my number one source in boxing was Michael Benson. Michael Benson was always my number one source when it comes to knowing about fight news or big time fights getting made. But I think as of last year, Turkey Al bought the Michael Benson page. So it's been really hard to follow things and know what's really accurate and what's not accurate. Like I said, I told people, man, Turkey Al is a gift and a curse in the game of boxing. He's a gift because he's going to give us a lot of the fights we want, but he's also a curse because I never know what's really the true statements. You know what I'm saying? Like, so much came out, and you just don't know what's. First, we heard that Canelo was fighting Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? We all stood on that. We all knew that, and we all were like, all right, Crawford's fighting Canelo. And then a couple days later, we hear that Canelo Alvarez versus Jake Paul is taking place and that Crawford and Canelo is canceled. You know what I'm saying? So we heard that for like a day. You know what I'm saying? And like, I didn't really post anything because I wanted to wait to see what the accurate news would be. And it turns out that Canelo Alvarez signed a 4-fight deal with Turki Al and Saudi in Riyadh. And Terrence Crawford is part of the 4-fight deal, along with Sriracha, maybe Dimitri Bivol and Hamraz Shiraz. Now, obviously, we didn't get David Benavidez. We knew we weren't going to get David Benavidez, so I kind of lost hope in that fight completely. So has David Benavidez. David Benavidez has made it very clear that, he's kind of moved on from that fight, man. We're still going to get Crawford versus Canelo, but just the fact that Canelo even entertained the Jake Paul fight, is disappointing. It's rather disappointing. And I heard a lot of people jumping the gun early, man, like saying that Crawford, should go conquer 154, and he should. But if he can get that Canelo fight, man, he's got to take that Canelo fight. That's the biggest fight in boxing, in my opinion. I get it, 2 weight classes difference, but I want to see that fight. It's probably the fight I want to see the most in boxing. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they said that Boots versus Crawford would be a backup plan. But now that we got Crawford and Canelo back in the realms, we don't need that backup plan. Plus, I didn't know how that was going to work out with Boots scheduled to fight Stanionis in April. I didn't know how all that was going to play out. But as we can see, the Crawford and Canelo fight is back on, y'all. And I'm very excited that it's back on. You know what I'm saying? I can honestly say Crawford Canelo, like, I'm not as excited for the fight as I once was, but hey, at least we know for a fact it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't know if it was going to happen. Now we know it's happening. It's back on. And hopefully we don't get any more late surprises before the fight. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully everything goes as planned. And we get the fight that we asked for, man. Canelo versus Crawford, man. And quite frankly, it's not the fight that we asked for, but Crawford is trying to get the biggest money fight. Canelo thinks it's obviously an easy fight. Obviously, Turkey paid him enough money for him to want to agree on the fight, and now we're here, man. Um, I don't really know what to think of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know what to think of the Canelo Crawford fight, man. I thought it was about to get canceled, and now it's back in the works. So, you know, It is what it is, man. Um, Obviously, Canelo is not what he once was, which is why the 4 fight deal. If you look, two out of the 4 guys on the 4 fight deal are not even in his weight class. Yeah, I don't know if anybody caught that. Crawford's not in his weight class, and neither is Hamra Shiraz. Now, Hamra Shiraz is 6'3", and he's a killer at middleweight. I'm not gonna lie, I think he's one of the best middleweights in the world right now. Um, but he's rather skinny, you know. Um, I wonder how that fight would play out with a guy like Canelo. To be honest with y'all, I don't know how a fight with Canelo and Shiraz would play out. It's not a fight that I'm calling for. I even heard that Charlo could be on the list of the 4 opponents. There was one fight that said it was to be announced. Out of the 4 opponents, they only had 3 listed: Shiraz, Bivol, and Crawford. And then there's one guy who we don't know yet, I guess. I guess this is the 4 fight plan that Canelo has in store, man. But I wonder, will his will his plans change after the Crawford fight? If Crawford were to beat him, would his 4 fight plan change? If he gets another loss on his record, you know what I'm saying, y'all? Like, these are all things that we have to pay attention to. These are all things that we have to pay attention to, and that we have to take with a grain of salt, man. So in my opinion, if Crawford beats Canelo, Canelo could retire. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. We don't know what Canelo would do after that fight. Canelo, I mean, what, he's already got 2 losses. I could see Canelo having 4 losses at the end of this fight, 4 fight deal, man. You know what I'm saying? Canelo is not what he used to be. He slows down in the second half of fights. We saw it against Ryder. We saw it against Munguia. We saw it against Berlanga. He slows down in the second half of fights, right? So he would have to, against Bud, he's gonna have to come out early and really get Bud. And it'll be interesting to see. Bud's not the fastest starter in the world, but he's also not the slowest starter in the world. So it's gonna be a very interesting fight to see. You know, it's happy that it's back on. And it's what boxing deserves, man. It's what boxing deserves, man. We deserve to see Canelo Alvarez taking on Bud Crawford, man. You know what I'm saying? I still think Bud Crawford is going to win that fight. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I didn't really get the chance to talk about the Benavidez and Morrell fight too much last week. So I'll talk about it briefly. I was impressed with David Benavidez. I thought he got hit a lot. You know what I'm saying? He says he wants the Bivol Beterbiev winner. I said that during the fight he would lose to either man. I just think that Bivol and Beterbiev, being the accurate punchers that they are, I think they would land and outscore Benavidez. Not saying that Benavidez wouldn't land back on them, but with him being very flat-footed, I saw a lot of things in the Morrell fight that I think that Bivol and Beterbiev could capitalize. You know, Morrell had a chance to win that fight. I just think that he fought the wrong fight at times. When he was boxing beautifully. When he was boxing on the outside, he was boxing beautifully. And then at times he would show his immaturity and he would fight Benavidez on the inside. And that's when Benavidez was able to do what he wanted to do. Now, you have to be offensive against Benavidez. Your best way to beat Benavidez is to throw a lot of shots and to try to, catch him with between punches. But I don't think Morrell fought the right type of fight. And I just think that Beterbiev, perfect style to beat Benavidez, throws a lot of punches. He can punch. With Benavidez being as flat-footed as he is, obviously Benavidez is about 4 inches taller than Beterbiev, and that would help him drastically. I'm not gonna lie, but it'd be interesting to see. We saw Beterbiev beat a much taller fighter in Callum Smith, but I don't think Callum Smith's half as good as Benavidez. So it would be interesting to see. You know what I'm saying? It would still be a great fight. I would favor Beterbiev, but I wouldn't just say that automatically Benavidez would win that fight. You know what I mean? So Canelo Alvarez, man. We're back in the realms of the conversation, man. We're back in the realms. Boxing's been a little bit slow motion, other than the the we're gonna just have open boxing talks right now, man. Honestly, we're gonna just talk about what's been going on. Um, so we basically wait to see. It looks like the Crawford Canelo fight is back on. I'm very happy about that. Um, there's a lot of shit that's been going on though, man, in the boxing world. We got a lot to talk about besides Canelo fighting Crawford and the 4-fight deal. We have a lot more to talk about besides that. There's a lot more to unfold. We have some big fights next week. Underrated fights that no one's really talking about in the boxing world that we're definitely gonna unfold here today. We got to talk about, obviously, the WBO, or is it the WBC? I think it's the WBO. The WBO interim title fight in Manchester, February 15th. You have Jack Catterall defending his belt against a guy who's coming off a couple wins in a row. Against Sean McComb, looked very lackluster in that performance. And then you had a pretty damn good performance against Jose Ramirez in Arnold Barbosa. Now he goes to Manchester to fight Jack Catterall in his hometown for the WBO. I think this is a 50-50 fight, y'all. I think Jack Catterall can win this fight, and I think Arnold Barbosa can win this fight. It's going to come down to who can unleash their style quicker in this fight. Obviously, I do think the judges will play somewhat of a factor in this fight, being that Catterall is from Manchester, man. I think that Barbosa is going to have to convincingly win this fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he can just. A lot of times when I watch Barbosa fight, he's in real close fights, and the fight cannot be close here if he wants to get the decision. I think he knows that, and it's going to be very interesting to see if he's able to do what he needs to do. Hold on, I'll be right back, y'all. All right. Let's see. Got a little bit more I put in here. But yeah, man, Arnold Barbosa Catterall, man. I'm actually predicting Barbosa is going to actually outbox Catterall in this fight. I think he's going to be really motivated. I think he's going to outbox Catterall, and I think they're going to rob him. I think Catterall is going to win a close decision. It's an Eddie Hearn show. And I just think being the B side, I just think it's gonna be hard for Barbosa to get a decision, man. That's just kind of my opinion on it. Let's talk about the Top Rank show, February 14th, a show that I will be at, a show that I am excited about because we have Keyshawn Davis having a chance to become a champion. You know what I'm saying? Early on in his career, we can talk about that. Hold on, y'all. Let me focus on rolling up my weed. Mm. Let's talk about this Keyshawn Davis Baranchik fight, y'all. All right, man. So Keyshawn Davis has a chance to become a champion, beating Baranchik. Do y'all think he could do it? I think stylistically, man, he he's too big and explosive for Baranchik. Baranchik beat Neverate. You know what I'm saying? And I think Top Rank knows exactly what they're doing with this fight. But damn, I gotta let this shit dry off a little bit. I gotta let this shit dry. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. We back, y'all. We back, man. I had to answer a phone call real quick. We back in the rooms. We back in the works. Yeah, man. Boxing. Look, boxing a little slow motion right now. We got the February 22nd show coming up. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of hypotheticals being thrown around about Terrence Crawford. You know, really conquering 154 because people thought that. Like I heard Mazuma TV. I heard a lot of channels coming on live and saying that they thought that Crawford was going to have to go after the 154 division, meaning they were going to have to go after unified champion Sebastian Fundora, who has 2 belts, or he was going to go after Baccarat, the guy who just beat Tim Tszyu. But now with the Crawford and Canelo fight back in the realms, Crawford is not fighting anyone till Canelo in September. If I were Crawford, because as you guys know, Canelo's going to have a tune-up fight against Sriracha before Crawford in May. If I'm Crawford, I'm definitely trying to at least get one of the belts at 154 before I fight Canelo. So if I'm Terrence Crawford, maybe you fight a Sebastian Fundora right before Canelo. You know, he's 6'7". You want to be prepared for anything, man. Canelo can punch hard. So why not fight a guy who's going to give you some crazy looks? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just feel like Crawford should be prepared for whatever. And maybe Fundora is not the right guy to fight right before Canelo. Maybe Baccarat, but a lot of guys at 154 you can fight. Maybe Tim Tszyu, even the winner of Virgil Madrimov in May. Because, you know, he's not fighting Crawford for like Canelo for another 10 months, what it sounds like. So if I'm Terrence Crawford, man, I'm definitely trying to get at least one more fight in between the Canelo fight in May or like in April or something. And maybe it could be the Virgil Ortiz Madrimov winner. Or maybe it'll be somebody else. Sebastian Fundora's got 2 belts. Crawford's got a belt. He would have 3 belts if he can beat Sebastian Fundora. But we'll see if that ends up happening, if that ends up going to fruition. I don't know what Crawford's plans will be. Either way it goes, man, I'm just really happy that the Jake Paul Canelo fight's not taking place. That fight was a load of shit. The fight was going to ruin boxing. It was just going to waste time, you know, just take us away from fights that we need. With Canelo getting older, with Crawford getting older, I'm just so happy that fuck Jake Paul, man. He didn't earn his way, and he was trying to come in here. Is that Blase? Best out of the 815? Would you change your name, bro? You got the same background, but you changed your name. No, the fight is still happening, bro. The Canelo Crawford fight is still happening. The only thing is, you know, we had all these. It's really hard. Exactly, Blase. So you understand what I'm saying, bro? With when Turki Al-Sheikh bought Michael Benson's page, it's been so hard to follow fights, man. Last year in 2023, when Michael Benson was reporting fights, it was direct, it was right in your face, and we knew what was going on. Now Turki Al-Sheikh and Ring Magazine have bought and taken everything over with these articles, and now I just don't know what to believe, man. You hear something come out, and then something else, something new comes out the day after. It's a load of shit, man. You said, yeah, that's where I'm from, the 815. And I'm already knowing. I just didn't know you changed your name. Because at first I thought it was somebody else, but then I saw your background. I'm like, okay, that's Blase. What's good though, bro, man? I ain't been on here in a minute, man. You know, I was supposed to come on here for the Benavidez and Morrell fight. I was supposed to go live, but it got real loud in the casino, so I ended up not going live and stuff like that. But it was a hell of a fight, man. It was a hell of a fight. You said, bro, we got to go to a fight. I mean, what fight? What fight, man? You know me, bro. I go to fights, bro. One thing about me, bro, I'm always at the fights, bro. I'm always there, man. I'm in the business. I don't hesitate to let you know, bro. Like, you just gotta let me know. Like me, if they're in the East Coast, you say go live for the Keyshawn fight. Oh, that's no problem, bro. I'm gonna be there though, bro. So my thing is like, how do I go live for the fight there? It's gonna be so fucking loud. I'm probably gonna be in the top first 10 rows. It's gonna be loud. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try though, man. I'm gonna try to at least, if not go live, at least post a short of you know, my night there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try. It's definitely gonna be something that I try to do. Oh, you want to go to Canelo Bud? I mean, yeah, man. tickets are probably going to be starting at like $1,000, but I'm down, bro. That's a once in a lifetime type of fight. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. Let's do it, Blase. I'm down. Um, who do you got in that fight, man? Crawford or Canelo, man? What you think? And what do you think Benavidez should do? Should Benavidez go after the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol, or should he leave them alone? What do you think he should do? Were you impressed with David Morrell? I thought Morrell did well. I thought he fought the wrong fight in certain aspects, man. Enough to give Benavidez the decision. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I say that because these top ranked guys, they don't just like giving away tickets for free. You know what I'm saying? Like this Keyshawn fight, I'm assuming because it's in the little theater at the Square Garden, that venue only holds 6,000. They're probably going to sell that place out. There might not be that many extra tickets. You know what I'm saying? My dad's been knowing the top ranked matchmakers for a long time. That's why I get plugged in. But for them to just give away 5, 6, 7 tickets for a show of this magnitude, Zayas the co-main event. He's fighting the undefeated guy. He sells a lot of tickets in New York. The show's gonna be sold out. You got Jared Anderson on the card. You got Abdullah Mason on the card. I can't see any way that it doesn't get sold out. But I'll see what I could do though. The 815, that's California, right? Or I'm tweaking. 815, that's California. Where's the 815 at? Let me know, bro. Who you got in this Arnold Barboza and Jack Catterall fight though, Blase? You know, we got some good boxing next week, man. Do you think that Keyshawn Davis is overlooking Baranchek? Let's talk about the Keyshawn Baranchek fight, man. Oh, you in Illinois? Okay. Yeah, you in my neck of the woods. I should have known that. Oh, you out by like Des Plaines or something? 815 and shit. You know, I'm a 708. I'm a 708 cat, Chicago. Would love to go to the Keyshawn fight. I got Bud. David Benavidez did well. So did Morrell. I think David needs to fight the loser between Bitterman and Beevil, winner, which I believe the loser will be Beevil. That's a good idea. He should not fight the winner. He should fight the loser. I agree. Which will be Beevil. I think Benavidez will have a better chance of beating Beevil too than he would against Beterbiev. Yeah, I agree with you, man. So is Keyshawn overlooking Baranchek? Because you know I did a lot of research on Baranchek, man. This guy was on the same Olympic team as Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk. This guy's a fucking beast, man. I get it. You know, we haven't really got a lot of sample size from him. He beat Navarrete. I wasn't like super impressed when he beat Navarrete. He did enough to win. There's no question about that. But I wasn't like super impressed by Baranchek. That being said, I feel like Keyshawn's going into this fight thinking like he's got this shit in the bag. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to have to work hard to win this fight. You don't think so? So what you think? Who said he'll stop who in round one? Keyshawn said he's going to stop Baranchek in round one? That's not happening, bro. It's not happening. That is not happening, bro. Baranchek's a good fighter. Yeah, I think Keyshawn is coming into this fight real conceited, thinking like he can basically show up and win. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm here to tell you, Blase. I don't think Keyshawn can just show up and win. I think he's going to have to bring the dog out in him. I think he's going to have to stand out in New York, man. I think he's going to have one of his brilliant performances. It's not going to be like Gustavo Lemos. I think Baranchek is going to take some of Keyshawn's best punches. Being the Ukrainian guy, I think his chin's underrated. I think we're gonna have to see the best, absolute best version of Keyshawn Davis in his first 12-round fight. I can't wait to see it. I think he will be crowned champion at the end of the night. But I think this fight's going a distance, and I do think Baranchek's going to win some rounds. I think Keyshawn's going to have to dig deep, and I think it's going to be a closer fight than people anticipate, man. Don't be surprised if Baranchyk wins 4 or 5 rounds, bro. Don't be surprised if this is a close ass fight and Keyshawn squeezes to like a 115 or a 116, 112 decision, bro. I'm not expecting Keyshawn to dominate this fight, y'all. I'm not expecting Keyshawn to just kill him. And I say that because I think Baranchyk is really good. I think we're underestimating Baranchyk. But man, we gonna see though, man. Like I said, Zayas is fighting the undefeated guy. Are there any gigs in the boxing industry? Man, bro. Well, me being in the boxing game, bro, I can tell you right now, boxing is tough, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a lot of patience in this game, bro. Um, the best way to get in is, to have a fighter. If you got a young prospect, you know what I'm saying? I got a young prospect from Angola. He's out of Chicago. He's 1-0, one knockout. And right now, I'm struggling to find a promoter that's willing to, you know what I'm saying? He's only 1-0 right now. So, and he's not really known. So when a fighter's not really known and he's only 1-0, there's not too many promoters that are willing to sign him because you got to be a ticket seller. Now, in his first fight, he did sell $3,000 worth of seats. And when you could sell seats, you know what I'm saying? You could be a ticket seller and promoters might take a chance with you. But right now, my fighter's in a position where he would probably have to pay for a slot entry on a promoter's show and probably have to be the B-side. That being said, I'm matchmaking fights. Matchmaking fights is not easy. A lot of fighters see Jake Paul and fighters making six figures, and even fighters that are journeymen in today's game want to make big money, man, and that's what it is. That's what the game is. So, is there any entry? Is there any boxing gigs? Yeah, man, but boxing is one of those things where it's about who you know. I'm gonna just be honest. It's about who you know in the game. If if you don't know nobody in boxing, you're basically starting from scratch. And starting from scratch in boxing is a tough thing to do, man. My dad been a boxing matchmaker for 50 years. So he's been plugged in. So I got kind of plugged in. And that's how I'm in the game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here to tell you it's not easy, bro. Let me tell you, man. Everyone, we see these fights get made and we see them fight and like we're so impressed by like the fights, right? But we don't see everything that in between to make these fights actually happen. You got to give the matchmakers, the agents, the managers, tons of credit because these guys go through a lot to make the fights happen. Trust me when I tell you this. All the inside shit in boxing is what makes boxing one of the most difficult sports business wise. Hell yeah, man! I had to come back live, man. I haven't been live in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Boxing had been slow for a while, but it picked back up, and I had been meaning to go live, but I had been so busy with boxing and trying to get this fight in Mexico. I got this middleweight fight in Mexico that I need to seal before February 28th. Um, and that's what I'm saying about difficulty with boxing, man. Imagine trying to get an American fighter to go fight in Mexico right now for $10,000. Not an easy assignment. Just all I got to say, man. Fighters want to fight for more than that in a 10-round fight. But not every promoter has Eddie Hearn or Bob Arum or Al Heyman money, and that's where I'll leave it at that. And when boxing is, a lot of fighters, end up sitting out a long time, don't get a lot of fights, and you know every fighter wants to be a star. You got a lot of guys who are undefeated, 6-1, but they don't have the star recognition or whatever. And all these fighters, they want to be a star. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it comes down to, bro. Boxing is. We only know about the star level. People don't talk about the club shows and shit like that, man. And I feel like that's the part of boxing that people need to really pay attention to if they're really boxing fans. You know what I'm saying? That being said, man, I don't know. I ain't got your number, Blase, but I want to show you highlights of my kid. His name is Jackie Timoteo. He's 1-0. He just had his pro debut last week. He got a first round knockout. The kid's special, man. He didn't fight anyone too good. He fought an old guy, fought a 40-year-old because it's really hard to find opponents these days. But took care of his. He didn't play with his food. Got him out of there in like 45 seconds. And we know that our kid's ready for big time fight. So in his next fight, we want to have him fight a guy with a winning record. We're trying to build him, hopefully get him signed. You know what I'm saying? So that's always the ultimate goal, man. When you got a fighter that you built from the ground up, that's the best way, man. If you can somehow get him to start him, you know what I'm saying? That's the best way, in my opinion. Because once a fighter's already kind of reached a certain level, they get cocky, and it's tough. You know what I'm saying? It's tough unless you already got a good relationship with that fighter from years past or something like that. It's hard to get in, man. Hard to get in. But we got a lot of fights, you know. Keyshawn, Baranchek, man. Jared Anderson's fighting a stiff on that card, a complete stiff. Abdullah Mason's fighting that dude that Rolly Romero fought in his last fight, Jaimez. I'm excited about that fight. It's an 8-round fight. It's clearly a round. They want to see how many rounds Abdullah can go. They want to see how Abdullah's going to look late in the fight because I know Jaimez could probably go a couple rounds. So that's gonna be an interesting fight. I was not impressed with Jaimez at all, but he is durable. That's for sure. So it'll be interesting to see him versus Abdullah. Zaya's fighting an undefeated guy. That'll be exciting. I know y'all saw Richardson Hitchens and Teofimo going at it. What'd y'all think of that? I think Teofimo low key don't want no smoke with Richardson Hitchens, man. I mean, that's a good fight. That's a 50-50 fight. I think Teofimo Lopez, low key, could get outboxed by Richardson Hitchens, but I could also see him knocking out Richardson Hitchens or stopping him late. It's a great fight. It's a fight that should be made, man. It's a fight that absolutely should be made. But I wouldn't have no dog in that fight. But I think that's a 50-50 fight, man, between Richardson Hitchens and Teofimo Lopez. No doubt about it. And then, let's see. We got Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero, I think in May, right after Ryan's suspension's over. I'll be pulling for Rolly Romero in that fight, but I think Ryan gonna win that fight. But yeah, bro, Keyshawn is next up, bro. He will dominate against Dennis Hitchens, and Tio is a good fight. You think Keyshawn gonna dominate Dennis? Ooh, that's a statement. That's a statement, man. I don't know if he's gonna dominate. I don't know if he's gonna dominate. You know what I'm saying? He could dominate. He could. I don't know, man. We have to see about that. Like I said, man. I think so. When you say dominate, are you calling a stoppage? Are you calling a stoppage, or are you saying that this fight's going to distance? Because I'm going that this fight's going to distance, bro. I got a faith in Baranchik. I think he's going to take a good beating. I think he's going to bring the best out of Keyshawn. But I think he's going to land some punches against Keyshawn. I really, really do think he's going to land. Because you got to understand, Keyshawn does have good defense. But he's a counter puncher. And he's willing to take one to get one. You know what I'm saying? He's not really like Shakur. Which is why I think, yeah, you say, yeah, possibly a stoppage. Okay, that's a statement. I'm excited to sell for that fight, man. Like I said, man, it's a good ass fight. I don't even want to talk about this Tank show coming up in a month. I might go to that show as well. You got Tank versus Lamont. You got Albert Puello versus Sander Martin. You got Antoine Russell versus Rayo Valenzuela. Yeah, mediocre show, to say the least. I guess the Rayo fight not bad. I feel like that's a 50-50 fight. I got Rayo in that fight. I think Rayo is a smarter fighter than Gary Antoine Russell. That's a good fight, though. You know, Gary gonna be motivated because all his boys from that area are gonna be fighting that same night, so he gonna be motivated for something. Rayo gonna be kind of like the road warrior in that fight, so it'll be interesting to see. It's in New York, so I expect a lot more Russell fans. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. That'll be a good fight. The Puello Sandor Martin fight probably gonna be boring as shit. I can see that fight being boring as hell. And then we got February 22nd. We got, Beterbiev Bivol rematch. You already said you think Beterbiev gonna win the rematch. I think Bivol gonna win, but I think they're gonna rob him again. They're gonna give it to Beterbiev. I think Dubois gonna beat Joseph Parker. I think Joseph Parker's been winning a lot, but he been fighting slow, older guys. Fought Wilder, who old as shit, damn near washed. He fought Zhang, who's slow as fuck. And now he's fighting a faster, just as powerful guy as Zhang and Daniel Dubois. And I just think Daniel got enough in his toolbox to stop Joseph Parker late. I got Caballero over Zhang. I think Caballero just too good of a boxer for Zhang. Zhang's slow as fuck. Unless Zhang can knock him out early, I got Caballero. I got Buatsi over Callum Smith. That's gonna be a good fight though. That fight could go either way for real, for real. And in the Shakur Floyd Schofield fight, the more and more I look at Floyd Schofield warming up, I think it's gonna be a blowout. I just think Shakur going to just outbox him, do too much. You know what I'm saying? He's just too much for him. I think he took the fight a little bit too early, Floyd, and we're gonna see that. I don't expect that fight to be exciting. Hopefully it is. You know what I'm saying? And then in the Virgil Madrimov, that's my upset of the day. I'm picking Madrimov to win. Actually, I think he'll beat Virgil Ortiz. I think it's gonna be a good ass fight. But if it's a close fight, I think they're gonna give it to Virgil Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? You know how this goes. Virgil Ortiz got the bigger name. Madrimov kind of a secondary guy. So that's kind of my assessment on that show. And that's really what we got in the boxing world right now, man. We got a lot of shit going on. You know what I'm saying? And we just gotta wait and see what's gonna happen with all this shit unfolding, man. But Canelo, Terrence Crawford is back. I'm happy as hell. And shit, man. I'll be back to drop a couple more videos later tonight or sometime during the weekend for sure, because I do have work later. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Peace. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I'm gone, man. Deuces.